I'm back with another case study so that you do not pay more in taxes than you need to over your retirement, and that you make sure you're not going to retire early and go, should I have worked another year or 2 years? Am I really in a good spot? I want you to retire with total confidence, knowing no matter what happens, you're not going to run out of money. Now, if you're going to retire before 65, there's more nuance involved. What about healthcare? What about tax planning? Which account can I withdraw from to optimize? That's what I'm going to show you today. The tool I'm going to use is available. If you want to see it, go to the description. Now, I want you to know I have lots of different case studies, and I'm wearing my dopey cauliflower shirt. If you don't know it already, this is what I discuss when I'm talking about Roth conversions. If you're like, I don't know what you just said, that's okay. This is a strategy to save you in taxes. Sometimes it makes a ton of sense, sometimes it doesn't. I have lots of different videos, so if you're watching right now going, hey, I'm not exactly this age trying to spend this amount, you can look for a case study that is similar to you. You can see I have different case studies. Are you 55 with $2 million? You can see I have different case studies. Here's a couple who's 60 and they're wondering, how do I minimize taxes? You want to spend $12,000 a month in retirement. What if you have 5 million? What if you have 4 million? What if you have 1 million? What if you have 500,000? I have every example out there. So if you want to find the case study that matches you, you're more than welcome to do that. I will say every case study is coming with the same philosophy. So for ease, you might as well just stay here. And if you want to find another case study after this, or if you want to play around with the tool for your situation, be my guest. What do you say we meet the couple? So here they are. Come on in, guys. Just kidding. It's just me here. So you can see here this couple, 62 and 57 with a 23-year-old child. And they're like, look, we don't hate our jobs. We are thinking maybe we retire at 64 and 61. We've got some basic estimates for healthcare, but we don't really know. And then we think we're going to spend $12,000 a month in retirement. We'll plan for vacations extra. There's one big vacation we want to do. So this is a real couple. And you can see here that they have $1.5 million broken down between a 401k, an IRA, and then this is a brokerage account. I call a brokerage account a superhero because this helps bridge the gap and it helps optimize taxes. So what you can see here is this is what they're working with. They have 2 properties. One is an investment. One is their current home. And they're like, hey, are we in a good spot? What do we know? What don't we know? What should we be thinking about? And right off the bat, their plan looks good, where here they are, 1.6 million bucks on track for 6 million at age 95. Now, I will quickly stop this couple and say, you are not in a position to retire. And they're like, what do you mean? This looks pretty good. And I said, yes, it looks good, but what about if markets don't do well? And they're like, why do you have to be such a downer? I go, I know, just humor me for a second. What if you have more of a balanced approach and that's just investments don't do well? Well, all I did was change it from 8% growth to 5% growth, and now they're running out of money at 89. So this is not a graph that you can look at and just go, I'm going to go retire. What if they have moderate growth? Well, now all of a sudden it's closer. We're at 94. What if all of a sudden they go, I'm a growth investor. I'm open to just more growth. That doesn't bother me for my retirement. Well, you can see they're okay, but they're still close to running out of money. So what you want to understand is, hey, what portfolio is right for you? Should you have 30% in bonds, 70% equity? Should you have 100%? What model should you have? This couple here, they're like, we don't even know about investing. And you can see when they put their investments in here, they just left it on, you can see there's a few different models in here. So you can go in here and you can say, I'm going to just put it into a model portfolio. And it's just going to say, you have your pick, aggressive, moderate, balanced. And it's going to, this is tricky though, because this will throw off your retirement if it's not dialed in. So be aware of this big assumption. How are you invested? That's the first thing. Now, let's assume they go, I'm just comfortable with a moderate allocation. Well, what did I say at the beginning? They think they want to spend $12,000 a month, but they don't really know. What if they're like, Ari, we're wrong. $8,000 a month, we can meet our goals and then some. $8,000 a month is totally fine. Well, all you can see here, all I did was assume moderate growth. They spent $8,000 a month. They're now on track for $4 million at age 95. They don't want $4 million. So I said, hey guys, anything else you'd want to do? And they go, yeah, maybe, $20,000 a year for vacations. I go, great, let's add it in. So now you can see $8,000 a month in retirement, $20,000 a year on vacations. You can see here they're on track for $3.5 million. Well, now we get to have the conversation. What if they retired earlier? So they retire a year earlier, not 660, just 60. What happens to the plan? Well, now all of a sudden, yeah, there's certainly fewer dollars, but there's only $2.5 million left over. They just got a year back of their lives and good luck quantifying that if you're wondering, hey, what if I could start spending more time with my spouse? What if a healthcare event occurs? There's so many different benefits here. Now, I don't want anyone to go retire early if they're not in a spot to do so, but my biggest fear is that you're mad at me when you're 75 going, hey, Ari, why didn't you tell me I could have retired if I was in a fine spot to do so? If I'm not in a spot to do so, I want to know why. So even though this couple, here they are on track for $2.5 million, lots of assumptions that go into here. What if it turns out they want to do some part-time income? What if it turns out that, and we could play around with all of this, they're going to do some charitable giving, help out the wedding or vacations, or they go, you know what, we're actually going to, I could pick whatever here, but we're going to do a home relocation. We're going to sell the investment property. We're going to buy land. Well, this is what I want you to dream big and then see, okay, what position am I in? And you can see here the real page that I care about, just so you know, it's not as pretty, but this is what I care about, is the withdrawal rate page. This is telling you how much you can take out of your portfolio and whether it's sustainable or not. So if someone's taking out 7.5% or 9% of their portfolio, that's not sustainable, that they will eventually run out of money. So this withdrawal rate, we want to ensure is in a comfortable level. Now, the first few years of retirement, I actually like when it's a little higher, not because I want you to run out of money, but you're probably going to spend more when you have your energy and health. Then it might come down, then it might shoot up again, where maybe you're in your 70s and 80s and you're like, look, I'm just not traveling to the same degree. Well, at this point, I want you to know this is going to be a dynamic thing. And let's assume this couple said, Ari, we want to spend $10,000 a month like that. And if that means that we have to work a few more years to 65 and 62, I have couples that go, I'd rather spend more. If I have to work longer to spend more, I don't care. I want to spend more. Well, now you can see here 5%. Sometimes it's higher than 5%, not because they want to, but because they're going to have Roth conversions they're going to have to do. They're going to have to eat cauliflower, or they're going to get crushed in taxes. So when you're thinking about your retirement, the number one overlooked thing I see is tax strategy. You want to play around with this tool and understand how you could have 900,000 more tax dollars, save yourself 100,000 plus in taxes. I want you to optimize your tax strategy. I want you to optimize your portfolio, because here's a couple you can see here with 98% equities. Is that realistic throughout retirement? No. Okay. It's too risky. We want to understand, well, what should the right mix be and where should that be? And how do we optimize that? Now, what brackets do we try to fill up? What about Medicare premiums? What about capital gains? You want to be able to play around and understand what position you're in. Well, yeah, if you invest well, here's a couple with $1.8 million example. Now they're on track for $5 million. Well, I would rather a couple spend more and enjoy their retirement to the fullest than spend a little bit less and go, okay, great. So I have more money now, but is it worth it? So ultimately, if I'm having a conversation with this couple, I'd say 100% equities, that's not realistic. I don't want you to run the risk of running out of money, and I don't want you to go, hey, why didn't I retire earlier if I was in a fine spot to do so? So play around, understand your expenses, your vacations, your travel, add in part-time income. The way you can do it is by understanding every aspect of retirement planning and going in and literally clicking the buttons and going, yeah, I'm going to stress test my plan. What if it turns out, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what if it turns out you're unlucky and markets drop by 30% or 40%? Now, it shouldn't do that if you're invested well. What if Social Security gets reduced? What if inflation is a lot higher? And start going, okay, so I get that. Start playing around with, hey, the right Social Security decision could be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Understand, when is it optimal for you to collect Social Security? And then match that to what's called your overall retirement cash flow plan. Not the sexiest thing you'll ever see. I get that. Okay. Sexy to me because I'm weird. But you can see here that there's a couple, and here's what they're bringing in the door. So $200,000. Then there might be a portion where they turn on Social Security while they're still making income. Well, I'd probably recommend against that. But you can see, look inside, look at their income. The planned distributions, do you guys know what this is? These are those required distributions. This is you being forced to eat more cauliflower than you'll probably ever need. And it's not a big deal now, but watch what happens if we go into the future. Well, $100,000, and then almost $200,000, and then almost $300,000. So now here they are, 85 and 80, Social Security bringing in $86,000 a year, required distributions of $256, which means $350,000 is coming in the door. I'm like, hey guys, do you need $350,000? They go, no. I go, I know what you need because expenses and taxes. So you're going to essentially, on the far right column here, the net flows, this all gets taxed at the highest bracket possible. So 15,000, 20,000, 30, 40, 50, 60. I don't want you paying a crazy amount in taxes. And if you look at their tax payments, they're projected to have some significant tax payments over the course of their life. And it's not fully avoidable, but I want to make sure it is minimized. And that is why it's the taxes, it's the insurance, it's the estate planning. I don't want anything overlooked. So I'll ask clients if they want to retire. I'll go, totally cool. Just let me see your 2030 or 2040 return first. And they're like, 2030, I'm trying to get through this year. I go, no, I get that, but I want to play out and look at future returns and understand what tax strategies exist that could make us a ton of money. I mean, look at this, $950,000 more dollars. But just so you all know, like, why do I use this portal instead of anything else? I'm very good at Excel. Not good at a lot of things, but I'm good at Excel. Watch what happens when I go to this couple and I say, hey guys, how about this idea? Look at this. Yeah, you could have $2 million more dollars, but how about you just do me a favor? Only spend $6,000 a month in retirement. I know that you could certainly, and don't take vacations. No. Trust me, you don't want to do that. Here's the risk that people run, and I see advisors make this mistake. Hey, Ari, wouldn't it be better to pass away with $6 million? Now, some of you are like, no, like I want to die with zero. I want to get as close as possible. I work my, X off for this amount of years. I want to make sure I'm in a good spot. Others of you are like, no, I want to leave a legacy of $6, $7, $10 million. And I go, great. Now, the risk that it runs is the following. And they're like, what do you mean risk? Before, you said I was going to have $900,000 more dollars. Now I have $1.8 million more dollars. I just saved $1 million in taxes. Like, this is cool. And I said, this is the definition of over-optimizing. This is a couple, and I'm not saying you guys are doing this, but this is a couple that gets so into the finances that they're like, oh my gosh, look how much I could save in taxes. Look how much more I could make. But it's almost like declining a bonus because you're going to have to pay taxes. It's like, it's still a net positive to you. I would rather someone come to me and go, Ari, I spent so much in retirement. I loved it. I didn't run the risk of running out of money. Yeah, I didn't do a ton of these fancy conversions, but I enjoyed my life. I'd rather that than someone who's 70 who's going, I just saved $2 million in taxes, but I didn't actually spend what I wanted to throughout my retirement. So yeah, you won the financial game, but I'll tell people if you want to have the best financial plan, just work 30 more years. Like, your plan will look awesome. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to work that long. I go, oh, I know. So the point here is not to die with the most money. It's not to save the most taxes. It's to go, great, how do I live to the degree that I want to live? And in light of that, don't pay more taxes than necessary. Make sure you have an estate plan. Don't pay more than you need to in insurance. So optimal and holistic planning, that's what this is all about. Hopefully this case study was helpful. And if it was, please like this video. Please share it if you want access to the tool or you want to work with us on an ongoing basis. You can go ahead and look in the description of this episode to do exactly that. Thanks, guys.